Hello there, collectors, and welcome to the Toy Fair Nuremberg 2025, the Spielwarenmesse Nuremberg. We're gonna have some fun today. I'm gonna walk through the show, I'm gonna show you around, show you all the cool exhibitors, from bricks to trading cards and toys and everything that's good and fun. Before we get started, I'm gonna say a few things about the toy convention itself, the Spielwarenmesse Nuremberg, also called the Spirit of Play. It just so happens to be one of the, if not the biggest and most prestigious B2B toy convention trade show in the world. B2B, business to business, that means only people and companies involved directly in the toy industry had access to the event. And it just so happens that I do, and as such, I had access to the convention. I booked a ticket and I went to Nuremberg to see the show for myself. This is very different to something like the Spiel in Essen, the Dema, the Adepticon, etc., which are conventions and shows open to the public. If you want the extended version, the quote-unquote collector's cut of this, hop on over, become a channel member, thank you so much, and then you'll see all the videos, all the behind the scenes, etc. stuff. Without further ado, let's get going. I grabbed myself a tea, cinnamon by the way. Go get yourself a beverage, hot, cold, icy, and let's begin. Getting to Nuremberg is easy by train if you're already in Germany. They also have an airport, and then you take the public transport to the convention center. If you haven't been, I totally recommend you check out Nuremberg. It's a medieval city, about 500,000 to 600,000 people live here. It has an amazing castle. I absolutely recommend you visit.
All right, guys, as you enter the hall, you are greeted with fun things such as the new Warhammer 40k starter set, the kill team, or here, we got Star Wars Shatterpoint, the base game, and lots of other cool things. This is the entrance hall. Let's see what we find. Star Wars Unlimited with new 2-player starter sets, lots and lots of different trading card games. Hall 12, I have to remember. Let's see if we can find some of those special prints, huh? Let's see if they have any promotional products here. And then off we go.
Let's begin with hall number 1. I made some notes to not forget which hall was which. This was plush, toys, lifestyle, and dolls. And as you can see, loads and loads of different things to see here. This was such a big convention with so many different vendors. 12 halls in total, and you can see right here lots and lots of merchandise and everything about plush and toys and dolls and anything.
You know, in case your kids want to pretend they have kids already, well, this seems like the perfect place to shop for that.
As I just mentioned, there were a lot of different vendors and booths, and that meant a whole lot of walking. I had about 30,000 steps on my watch after that day.
Isn't that the cutest husky you've ever seen? Oh, the eyes.
What would be the size of the...
Oh, come on. I want one of these. I want to ride around the convention like that. Lots and lots of plush toys, infant toys for your youngest kids. This is a cool place. Not really my section, I suppose, but it doesn't matter. We're going to cover all of this, so you know what's going on. And this is another kids section we got here, a bit older. So we got backpacks, school kids, etc.
And of course, not everything can be collecting related. This just so happens to not be.
So for all you soccer fans right here in Pokemon, we've got the Milan backpacks, Juve backpacks. If you're a soccer fan, you'll know.
Hall number 3 was all about wooden and organic materials. Lots and lots of different vendors, way too many to see all of them. Let's begin here with the rubber animals and all sorts of other cool things. And there was just so much to see. And I know this is not directly collecting related, but I think it's a great way to see what's out there and the news that are coming. And of course, that's my job essentially, to show you guys what's going on if you can't be there. Also, this display is amazing. This would be great for a cat. And also, if you're a miniature wargamer, for example, you can absolutely use this as scenery for something like, you know, Necromunda or Hive World. You know, that would be amazing for that.
Check out these 3D models. Aren't they so cool?
3D models are cool. I'm more of a wargamer myself. I like to glue them together, you know, paint them myself. Also here, let's talk about sustainability and green toys. We did see some of that at the show, at the convention. It gets better over time, I suppose, but still, all of us know companies like Lego, etc., they claim to be more sustainable over the years, but really they're not. Also, this was such a cool little photo booth. And on to hall number 3A, startups. This was very interesting to me, and that's why I took the detour to go to that extra hall. Startups, I think it's super important to see the news, the trends, and the new companies coming out. Once again, lots and lots of walking until you finally got to the startup area. And this is a great way to see lots and lots of different toy companies or providers, service providers, etc., coming out for toys in general. And the first one was Brixx. Brixx is a brick manufacturer, brick company from Germany that specializes in anything soccer or football related. So they make these cool dioramas or the images here, and most importantly, they make these replicas of stadiums. And if you're a soccer fan, a football fan, you will recognize these of Frankfurt, Mainz, Berlin, etc., Hereford. So all these replicas, by the way, standard size bricks of real life stadiums. Next up, Kiddy Craft. Kiddy Craft was interesting. Kiddy Craft, if you don't know, for those who have not read up on the history, Kiddy Craft was actually the inventor of the brick, and before Lego patented it, and they make these cool figurines, and all of them have brains. How cool is that? I thought that was super fun. For all you Lord of the Rings fans and, fantasy fans, they make orcs too. How cool is that? Here, look at that. Every single miniature they make has a brain. Let's talk about that one more time though. Kiddy Craft, the original inventor of the bricks that we all love before Lego purchased it or, got the patent or got the allowance to use the patent. They make great stuff, and they were revived, quote unquote, about 2 years ago. This is their second time at the Nuremberg convention, and they're just presenting their stuff. I absolutely recommend you check them out. Just give it a try. They have loads and loads of cool things on display, loads and loads of cool stuff you can see on their website. You find the link below.
Keine PET-Bünde-Drucke, das sind Laserdrucke.
Okay.
Bis zu 6 Farben, 300 dpi. Zoom mal mit der Kamera hier rein, lest dir meinen Text.
Ich glaube, das schafft die gar nicht.
Du musst ein Foto machen.
Ich versuche es auf Video zu kriegen.
Du kannst den Text lesen.
Das ist cool. Klemmbausteine hier, Bauspaß. Das ist cool.
Das sind 300 auf einer 2x2 Fliese, 300 dpi.
They also make lots of other cool stuff. For example, here all the medieval toys, the castle, etc. Great stuff, more aimed at younger children.
So, also wirklich, die Preise stehen übrigens im Katalog drin.
Natürlich, ich wollte jetzt nochmal so ein
Genau.
bisschen hier vom Bereich.
Und auf jeden Fall, das ist eine Preisspanne, die kriegst du bei Lego nicht in der Qualität. Kannst
Lass
du
uns gar
vergessen.
nicht über Lego reden, einfach nur, vielleicht, wenn es so irgendwas fürs
Da
Geld
muss man
gibt.
aber
ist gut,
heutzutage, weil viele Händler sind bei uns gewesen, das ist ein wichtiger Punkt, die sagen, hey, wir machen uns mit Lego unseren Laden kaputt, weil wir nichts mehr dran verdienen. Wir brauchen
Die
Alternativen.
Margen bei Lego sind ja nicht existent zum Teil,
Ja.
außer wenn du jetzt wirklich im
Genau.
5-, 6-stelligen Bereich abnimmst. Okay,
Hier auch nochmal sowas hier. Das hat die Ritter. Sehr, sehr cool gekauft. Die sind auch Piraten.
am coolsten sind immer noch die Orks. Ich muss sagen,
Ja,
als
definitiv.
alter Herr der Ringe-Fans,
Ja.
ich bin voreingenommen.
Und,
aber
das war uns auch wichtig, das war die Idee vom Chef selber. Wir haben was für die Hochzeitsmitbringsel. Das ist ein Hochzeitsset, aber der Knaller ist, ich zeig's euch mal gerade, das ist inklusiv. Du kannst die Hauttöne tauschen, das ist alles dafür dabei.
das ist cool.
Du kannst 2 Jungs machen, 2 Mädels, die heiraten, Standardpärchen.
Das ist
Du
wirklich
kannst sagen, welche Hautfarbe du haben willst, andere Haarfarben. Und wenn es nicht reicht, das Schlimmste, was du machen musst, ein zweites Set kaufen, um es halt vollständig hinzukriegen. Aber alles ist möglich. Wir haben so viel Druck, wir haben bis jetzt alle Varianten hingekriegt.
Ja, nochmal, also das ist auch inklusiv, ja. Da können
Ja.
man theoretisch auch 2 Frauen, 2
Natürlich,
Männer,
klar.
3 Männer, ich weiß nicht, wie viele Figuren? 5 Stück, ja?
Genau,
Also
richtig.
auch eine ganz
Kannst du-
große.
Packst den Frauenkopf zum Beispiel auf dem Anzug, die eine hat einen Anzug und ein Ding, brauchst du 2 Brautkleider, dann musst du halt 2 Sets
Das ist
kaufen.
eine
Aber
polyamore Hochzeit, ist das
das ist
wunderbar?
überhaupt kein Thema. Ich kann das mal übrigens zeigen, wenn du mit der Kamera mal mitkommst.
Hervorragend.
Schau mal her, hier siehst du alle Varianten.
Ich habe dein Gesicht auch nicht drauf, also
Alles
kein
gut,
Stress,
kein
aber
Problem.
insofern, ja.
Siehst du mal die Figur nochmal. Das kommt super gut an,
Ja, das
weil die halt sagen, Mensch, das kostet 11,99. Das ist kein Geld. Aber kann man eine Torte schön dekorieren oder mal eine Tischdeko machen. Bei einer Hochzeit fällt das überhaupt nicht mehr auf. Das kostet so schon ein paar tausend Euro. Dann packst du ein paar schöne Figuren als Deko mit dazu oder für ein Geschenk oder irgendwie.
Das ist süß, ja.
Das seht ihr auch gerade in Mr. Kiddy Craft, den kleinen, hier bei der Oma zum Beispiel. Und ihr habt die großen, genau.
Die Burg ist auch von euch, oder?
Ja.
Das hier oben, oder?
Das ist das größte Set, das kostet 120, hat aber auch 8 Figuren und knapp 1700 Steine.
Und was wollen wir da? 80, was war das? 100 wie viel?
119.
119,
genau.
Oder also 120, okay.
Aber wie gesagt, Preise kannst du alle nochmal nachgucken. Gar kein Thema. Aber Orks, Burg und wie gesagt, es wird auch ausgebaut. Da gibt es in der Welle 3 noch mehr.
Das ist Welle 2?
Das ist Welle 2 jetzt erst. Welle 3 kommt bis Ende des Jahres. Also
Okay.
bis vor Weihnachten. Es kommt so gut an.
Wir werden Ende dieses Jahres Feuerwehr und Polizei bringen,
Gut, cool.
um, ja ich sag mal, Vollsortimenter zu werden. Ne? Das brauchst du halt auch. Und die Feuerwehrstation, die ist schon so weit fertig designt, Polizeistation noch nicht, aber die Feuerwehrstation kann ich euch schon mal ein bisschen was zeigen. Die wird so aussehen. Farbschema ist angelehnt an der Feuerwehrstation, die bei uns in Bad Lippspringe gerade
You can also see that it doesn't always have to be Lego or something. You know, it can be cardboard like here, which is super creative. On to the technical section.
Just said, we're expecting something big from these. Like a huge robot, something like that. You know, something that stands out.
And hall number 4, as I said, was technical toys, so we expect lots of robots. But we did see some, but it wasn't all that exciting, I have to say. I was sort of, you know, with the AI boom looming, I was thinking we'd see amazing things. But we did not. Here is Bandai, and they, as a matter of fact, we were not allowed to go in, and we were not allowed to film. Of course, that happens at such a big show. They might not be wanting visitors like that unless you have an appointment. But at least we saw the cool display of the Dragon Ball figurines. I absolutely love Dragon Ball, so that was cool. A lot of fun for me. But then again, you know, it just so happens not everyone wants to showcase that. You need an appointment with the manufacturers, the vendors, and then you can get into their booths. The same with Hasbro, of course, you know, they make all sorts of games, etc. Most notably for the collectors, perhaps, are the Magic the Gathering cards, or Star Wars, Marvel, etc. They have lots of licensees. But that's just how it goes. As I said about the robots, we did see some, but other stuff was way more prominent. For example, these brick flowers. Flowers in brick format are super popular right now. You probably know that. But at least we saw this one, the open Bricksource booth. We just saw them. I saw the booth because they had this cool diorama, the cool setup with the space shuttle and the rocket. But they make these cool printed base layers, and these are double-sided, so you can attach rigs from the bottom and the top. These are super cool, I thought.
Are they made of wood?
So these are bricks made of wood. I think that's super creative. They're just cool.
Das hier ist auch eben so eine Sache, die uns so richtig ausmacht, diese Bauplatten, die dann eben bedruckt sind.
I hope you don't mind me just showing off different vendors you might not have heard of before. And Bricksource here, they were super nice to talk to, and they specialize, among other things, in making custom sets for their clients. So you come to them, they tell you, hey, this is our design, this is our story, blah, blah, blah. And then they create a set for you that you can hand out, for example, to, you know, your business partners, your customers, etc.
Das ist cool.
Ja, die Leute, die Kunden kriegen das dann mit Verpackung, mit Bauanleitung in dem Look and Feel, wie sie wollen. Wir haben auch die Möglichkeit, hier haben wir so ein Rost-Finishing gemacht, dass das ein bisschen erhaben ist auf der Verpackung. Also da machen wir ganz viel und
Was für Bricks nutzt ihr? Habt ihr dann...
wir haben alles, was wir machen, ist Lego-kompatibel. D-Bausteine integriert, klar. Von hinten sieht es nicht so hübsch aus, aber von drinnen sieht es natürlich total gut aus. Der LED kann ich sagen, was ich will. Die kann flackern, die kann Dauerleuchten, die kann natürlich auch verschiedene Modi machen.
Ich finde es schon ganz cool, dass es so unter den Gartenstücken ist.
I also, as an old-time Pokemon fan, this Pokedex in real life, in miniatures, was so cool. I just had to take a moment to enjoy the view. Of course, there are other things you can see here. Who let the dogs out, right? Ignore the no photo sign, please, because, it just so happened, right? All this cool AI chess in real life, that was cool, or the Transformers, of course. So many cool things to see.
Let's go to hall number 4. We just spent it.
This was the other technical hall. I'm, looking at the same stuff that you're seeing right now. Again, lots and lots of walking. So much walking. Anyone remember Slimy? When you have the flubber, the slime, and you just stick it to everything, you may never get into your hairs because, it'll never go out. Anyway, that was cool to see. Nothing for me, but I loved seeing Mozzabrick. Mozzabrick make brick sets from your photos. You just send it in and they make a brick set out of it. It's super cool, easy to do. There are other vendors like that, but they were here at the show. Super nice. Once again, of course, I'm trying to link everything down below. If I forget something, please point it out to me in the comments. One of the booths I was most excited for was Brixx. Brixx is a German brick manufacturer. They make their own sets. And I was excited to see what they present at the show, and they did with their new play range. You might know Brixx makes different ranges. They have pro and special, and they also sell stuff from other vendors like Cobi, Cada, etc. But they're just coming out with as you can see here, this is the pro line, but they also have their new play line, which, is more aimed toward kids, and they want people to actually play with their sets and not just display them. They have this pirate series. They have all sorts of cool stuff. They did lose, I just have to point this out before we continue, they did lose the Star Trek license. Who did they lose it to? Well, it was Lego. So Lego Star Trek is coming out, I believe it's the end of this year, 2025. But Brixx lost it. They still might have some of the sets on their website though, if you want their stuff. It's good. It's of course not the same as Lego. They have a bit of a different focus, I'd say, on sets. But anyway, this was Brixx. They make great stuff. The blue castle, the bluestone Blaustein castle is amazing. I built it. I'm going to present that to you in a different video. Anyway, I had a lot of fun with the Brixx sets. Great guys and girls. Super nice to talk to. Totally check them out. And in case you have never tried anything apart from Lego, yes, other companies like Brixx make great quality sets, and bricks like Brixx, for example, they fit very well and are absolutely compatible with your Lego sets, etc. Another manufacturer from Europe I was very excited to see at the convention was Cobi. Cobi, in case you don't know or if you're familiar, they specialize in making replicas of vehicles, ships, and they're especially popular in the war gaming, war vehicle and bricks related scene. They make cool stuff. For example, this amazing Roman ship. I just love this. I need to have this. I need to build this. This is so cool. Also, they have loads and loads of other stuff, cars and ships and airplanes and anything in between, always with their original licensees, by the way. These are not, copies of Lego or something. These are original sets. Like here, the Titanic, much smaller, of course, than the $600, $700 Lego version, but a lot cheaper too. And all sorts of cool stuff. Like here, they have the historical section, but they also have officially licensed products here, just like the VW, the Volkswagen, and other cool stuff. Absolutely recommend you check them out. Good quality, but you might want to see a bit more. Of course, let's move on. Here we have the big Titanic model they also make. One more time here, it's super cool to see. And if I hold my hand against that, then you can actually see the size. Great stuff. And as I said before, they're especially popular among those who love to build military-related topics such as airplanes, ships, tanks, cars, etc. Let's check this out here. We have the jet fighters, for example, or we have the big warships. Myself, I prefer Revell, etc. for that because I love the more, the more details you get on these. But if you love to build them using bricks, Cobi is going to be the one you want to look out for. Great stuff. And I do like all these airplane sets. I think they're super nice, especially here down at the bottom. You have this cool warship and the water below. What I like about the convention is that you get to see new stuff. For example, Keepplay I didn't know before. I wish every manufacturer made a city with these big tiles like But I especially loved their starship and space section, and they make models of the Chinese spaceships and space station. I think that's super cool. You know, we're probably used to NASA and ESA, etc., but this is also cool. Pantasy, one of my favorites. They make amazing sets. We do absolutely need to build the Asylum together. Pantasy is one of my favorite brands. They make big sets, lots of parts, and they have cool licenses too. Check it out here. Dragon Ball, the Small Prince, the Garfield section. They have the Peanuts, yes, and lots of other cool stuff. Here you can see some of the stuff, the dragon, the Wishing Dragon from Dragon Ball. That's such a great set. Love this. And we absolutely need to look at them. They didn't have some of the sets I know them for, but they had some new stuff. Totally worth it. Pantasy, they make great products, by the way. And I'd like to show you something here. Besides all these cool houses, which are a lot cheaper than, you know, from other brands, you should totally check out this one on the left, by the way. Here, the Peanuts. And then last but not least, this super cool castle from the Little Prince books. I hope you have read that. If not, go check it out. Little Prince, Small Prince, awesome stuff. This is not a consumer show, so you can actually take the time to look at stuff. It's not, you know, it's not like 1,500 people shoving and pushing you because they all want to see their favorite brand. You have loads and loads of space for yourself, and you can actually look at stuff. And that's what most people do that come here. They are vendors. They might own a brick and mortar store, or they might own an online shop. They might be a distributor, etc. And they come here to talk. So that's the goal of this convention, and which is what makes this a bit more special. There's nothing, you can't buy anything, by the way, as you know, you're not going home with a small set, you know, or a toy. But that's just how this B2B convention goes.
Check this out. We have the Arsenal Emirates Stadium. How cool are these?
In comparison to Brixx, which we saw before, Foco makes these sets in the diamond, I think they're called, sized bricks, so very small ones, but they have great sets. You know, here the Arsenal one or the Paris Saint-Germain, just loads and loads of cool stuff. Also here, if you need a buck set at home without the mess, I guess this is the one for you. Brixies. Brixies is interesting. They make agricultural and farming related brick pieces and sets, like here. Great stuff if you're a Farmville player. I'm not. You know, you might like this. They make them in they have different brick sizes they use. I especially like the beach here. Reminds me of the Netherlands, which, you know, you should totally check that video out if you haven't. Of course, they have flowers like everyone else, a grand piano, and to the side, one of my favorite sets from the show, the Elbphilharmonie in Hamburg, the Hamburg Opera House. If you haven't been to Hamburg, I absolutely recommend you do. Great set. And then here, a big display of agricultural sets. I'm not sure if this was just, you know, if this is made for, you know, brands as promotion material, or if they sell it to the public like that. If you're interested, go check out their website. Next up, we have Funwhole, Freakware. You might know that from the city they just showed here, but they make lights, etc., and custom brick pieces. I just thought it's worth pointing out some stuff here, and I like these lit up bricks, etc. Cool stuff, especially here the police car with the siren.
Time for a German original, Fischer Technik.
Fischer Technik made Technik bricks before it was cool, and if you have, you know, if your dad or grandpa used to collect, you know, bricks like that, they might know that. My dad did and my grandpa did. So of course this is maybe not to what you're liking right now. It's might not look as super flashy and cool, but Fischer Technik is one of the all-time greats. Very popular still. And of course, don't forget to drink, you know, your coffee or tea or whatever. Cada is another manufacturer you probably know if you're ever involved in alternate bricks. Like here, they show off this cool Manchester City Stadium, and that's so cool. Look at the pitch. I mean, that looks really good. And they have this Japanese or Chinese, I'm sorry, I can't remember, set of the show. And most of all, of course, everyone was drawn in from the AMG, the Mercedes car, and they, of course, make a great replica. I think this is all prints, no stickers. Great stuff. Cada is very popular, and for good reasons. They make good quality sets, and if you haven't, totally check them out. I'd like to point this out before we later go on to something like Lego. look at how all these booths we just looked at were laid out. Open, friendly, anyone can walk in. They showcase openly what they do. And I think that's cool that, it engages people a bit more. And then you see others like Hasbro or Lego or Mattel, the big ones, the big chains, and they either don't need to or they don't want to engage with the smaller vendors, people in general. And I think that's very telling. Hall number 5 was the continuation of technical and electronic toys. And yes, you guessed it, there was a lot of walking involved. Loads and loads of booths. As I said, 12 halls in total, and that was just a lot of walking that we had to do. Here we got to Plastoy. You might remember the Smurfs, right? The Schlümpfe auf Deutsch, by the way. And all these other collectible figurines. We just saw that on the side, very fun. And all these other cool figurine makers. There are way too many to all feature them all here. But from Marvel to anything Hogwarts, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings related, I do need one of these blankets and the cool Harry Potter houses. These are so cool. I need one of these. They're so cool. The Noble Collection, if you ever go to a big, random accessories toy shop, they're probably gonna carry loads and loads of stuff from the Noble Collection. They're, chess pieces and memorabilia and replicas of stuff. And they have loads and loads of licensees such as Harry Potter, Marvel, Game of Thrones, anything in between. Isn't that super cool? I'm never sure what we do with all this stuff, but I guess it looks good on your shelf. Look at this cool chess piece, huh?
Check out the Lord of the Rings chess set, and you can actually see through. See, that's a glass bottom, and underneath you have a map of Middle Earth. That's amazing. I love this one. That's so cool.
More walking, of course. And what I liked about the show is, one more time, it's so much to see. Literally everyone in the toy industry is here every year. While we're here walking, let me know if you like this kind of format. Should I visit, other places, other shows, conventions? Is that something you like? Oh, by the way, we have Funko here. Funko figurines, it's not really something I collect personally, but I know lots of people do. I know GameStop carries these because I saw them 50% off, by the way. Also, we have Zipstring. These must have been in the lion's den, the shark's tank, whatever it's called in your country. I don't know what it does, but lots and lots of people were there, and I suppose they were having fun. I'd like to show you this cool thing, the replica of the Firebolt from Harry Potter. I'm not a fan of how they made these things in the movies, but if you're looking for a realistic looking replica, this is it. Isn't that so cool? Oh, I'd love to use that. Oh, also they have the Nimbus 2000. I didn't cover it too much, but of course racing, cars, tracks, very popular. Also, as a book collector myself, look behind me, I love book nooks, and these are just so gorgeous. Tipp Kick, if you're a German or love, Fußball, this is a tip Fußball. You tip the little figures, the little miniatures, and then you can kick the ball. Super popular in Germany, by the way. If you ever come to Germany, you should absolutely check this out, of course. They've been around forever. The convention center itself, why am I showing this? Well, it was a nice day, and I spent it all indoors, with the exception for getting some food. Of course, collecting makes hungry, right? Hall number 6 was educational, and that was such a great place because sometimes, you forget you're in your own little bubble. By the way, they did have some collectibles like these cool figurines, also from wood, by the way, cool, huh? And some of these Stanley Cups, but that's not what I'd like to show you, by the way. I'll show you here. They had these super cool Pokemon cups. I need these. What I was saying, sometimes you just forget, right? You're in your bubble. You might be collecting Pokemon or Lord of the Rings or miniatures, Warhammer, Lego, etc. But sometimes it's worth it to just, look around, see what's on the other side, so to speak. And I think that's a great place to do that.
And this will probably interest a bunch of you because this is toys, cars, miniature trains, collectible trains, and anything like that.
If you collect miniature trains, electrified trains, Märklin and Brixx are the companies you will know. Märklin has been around forever, and I know everyone who collects these has one of these. They're the de facto, I think they're the de facto leader in that segment. Such cool stuff. And I love the eye for the little things, the details. I love how they just create worlds. And, that's something I share as a wargamer. By the way, as a huge AC/DC fan, I needed to show you the rock and roll train. I need this model. I'm not a collector of trains, but that's so cool. One more time, that sings to my heart because, as a wargamer myself and collector of miniatures for Warhammer, etc., I get the desire to create these worlds and bring them to life. Look at this diorama here with the Deutsche Bahn, the German train service. Here the ICE, the white one, the inner city. And you see that? They're lit up on the inside. How cool is this? Just the whole experience here. I love this. They're, of course, the market leader, but they still take the time to make it worth it for people to look at. Look at that. The trains are lit up on the inside. I wish they did that with other wargaming models. Warhammer. Hey, Games Workshop, I hope you're watching. This would be so cool. This is just such a cool diorama, by the way.
LGB, this train runs through water. That's cool. Let's see if I can focus. There we go. Whoa. Almost.
This was one of my favorite sections of the entire show because as a miniature collector myself, this was just so fun to see new and old brands, side by side and just be able to compare, and you always see something that's new. For example, I love booths like this where you can actually do something. This is, they make brushes, dry brushes, etc. They actually let you paint a miniature. How cool is that? That's that's a good way to engage. Follower here, I'd like to point it out because we were talking about the world building before. They make this with the little cars right here. I'm a firefighter myself, so this is close to my heart. And you can put this next to your trains or whatever. Again, I think this would be cool with Warhammer figurines, wouldn't you think? A Land Raider just coming by, how cool would that be? Let me know below which would be the first vehicle you're gonna electrify on your Wargames table next time. Haul number 7A was sports and outdoor. I love going outdoors and doing sports, but this was not my haul. I'm going to show you anyway because, that's what I set out to do. Just loads and loads of things you need for outdoors. Sand, castle, builders, anything you use at the beach or anything you use outdoors, mainly for kids, but some other stuff, for people in general. This is such a cool way. I wish I had a yard that was big enough for that, but oh well, it's coming soon, hopefully. And just lots and lots of stuff to see. Again, I loved how everyone was passionate. You see guys just riding around and they're during the convention. That's so cool. Haul number 7. Here we have it one more time. More outdoor stuff. A bit more aimed toward, the vehicle side, I'd say. But in between we had Reobrix, which might be known in the community of alt brick manufacturers. I think they have some licenses of World of Tanks and here Maserati. And you will find loads and loads of sets online. Trumpeter might ring a bell to you if you're into collecting replicas of warships, etc. And, that you actually paint and glue together, like Revell, which is more closer to me because that's from Germany. But here you see it's such a cool display. Compare my hand size. How cool is this ship, huh? That's a lot of ship to build and paint and, just build in general. How cool is this? Wish I had one of these. Sparmax Iawata might be a name for you if you're a wargamer, and they of course make anything related to airbrushes like compressors, etc. Of course, if you've heard of them. I've used them before. I don't own one currently, but they're good. They make good products. I can recommend them. They make good airbrushes, and of course the compressors are cheap and good. I also love these display sets. If you ever want to display, a larger vehicle that you're proud of, these would be super convenient. Here we have more stuff. I love stuff. And some of these sets are really cool. And I also loved how I would call these explosion diagrams, right? Where you see all the parts laid out, including the, painted. Or here we have the model of the year 2025. I'm not sure if this is true. Let me know in the comments if you know and if you like this. I could not film walking into hall number 9, festive articles, carnivale, fireworks, because there was actually a full body painting workshop going on. And I'm pretty sure this video would have been demonetized if I had shown that. Anyway, Carnivale, very, very popular here in Germany and other countries. For example, in Brazil at the Copacabana, or here in Germany, the Carnivale, the Carnival Fasching, you might have heard of that. Very big in February. Everyone just goes out and dresses up, whatever, and it's costumes and parties everywhere. If you haven't been, go check it out. It's so worth it. And there are, especially in the northern and the western part of Germany. In the south, it's not as big, but in the south and in the north and in the west, in North Rhine-Westphalia, for example, that's super popular. Hello there, Stormtrooper. As I said, you should totally check it out if you haven't. Number 10, hall number 10, board games, was another one of my favorites at the entire show. We spent a lot of time here. Cosmos, of course, you might know Catan, I'm pretty sure you do. But they also had loads and loads of other just board games and anything in between. Look at these cool boards they have here. And all these games and anything, card games, you know. If you love board games and anything playing and games related, this was your hall. Just loads and loads of cool stuff. Way too many for me to know all of them, but there are probably people among you who know better. And then you will probably know most of these names. I knew most of them that I wanted to see and talk to, which is exactly what I did. And here you just see how many different vendors there were. Incredible, such a big convention. Very, very much worth it to go there. And all these cool hobby and miniature games in between, just random ones in between. Or here you have, you know, 3D puzzles and anything glass puzzles and anything in between. I think that's so, so cool about this convention. A bit more behind the scenes. I was actually trying my best to record this in live, and I'm going to sprinkle a few things here and there in because, you know, when I think the sound is good enough. However, the truth is my microphone just didn't work as I wanted it to. So I was talking the entire time, telling you guys what we're, you know, experiencing, etc. But, you know, for next time, I'm going to be prepared. I'm going to take some of the money that you guys are granting me through your affiliate purchases, etc. And I'm going to use that for a better microphone. And I hope you enjoy it the next time, just as much as I did this time already.
Here we go, Ultra Pro. I made a video on the binders.
Interestingly enough, I only saw Ultra Pro from all the sleeves and protective gear manufacturers for card games. But so be it. We talked about the top loaders, and you should absolutely check out the binders video I made. This was the Ultra Pro booth, and I liked especially the stuff they had here on the right. You know, the Pokemon one, the Pikachu one, but even better was the Charmander one. This one is so cool. Of course, a classic design here with the binder for Pokemon, but there was just a lot of cool stuff to see. Sometimes I like to point out, as I said, smaller manufacturers here. If you're a wargamer or something, this is such a handy accessory to have, you know, a backpack or something where you can get all your stuff in. I think that's a cool thing to have.
Activity. One of the games that can be fun with the right people, and they can be horrible with the wrong ones.
That's totally true, but that's the same with anything, by the way, any game you play. Wouldn't you agree? If you play it with the wrong people, that's going to be awful. Yep, that's the butt mellow.
Ooh. Could this be Black Library? Ha ha ha! Games Workshop is here, and I am absolutely going to check this out.
Before I show you the rest of the Games Workshop booth, I was actually recording a small little interview, but my microphone just, you know, it turned out the sound wasn't recorded as nicely as I would have hoped, which is why I'm just gonna, you know, say it here in the studio. And we talked to the guys at Games Workshop. Of course, you know Games Workshop, right? War Games, Warhammer, Age of Sigmar, Lord of the Rings, you know, Blood Bowl, all these names, they probably ring a bell, right? Plus the Black Library books. I'm such a huge fan. You probably see here somewhere in the back, by the way, you see a part of my collection of Black Library books. Anyway, we talked to the guys at Games Workshop. As you can see, they didn't really show much, right? That's more reserved for their own stores, right? So here you can see me talking, but of course we can't show you everything. I wasn't allowed to, by the way. And that's completely fine, but they told me I should apply as, they call it ambassador or influencer, whatever you want to call it, the community of Warhammer. I love what they did and made out of that. I remember as a kid going to Games Workshop and just sitting there painting and talking to people and just, being involved in the community. I hope you have the same experience, or perhaps you have a local game store. I really hope you guys could experience, somewhat similar things that I did. And it meant so much to me. So that's why we spent a lot of time here at the Games Workshop booth. And no matter what you might be saying about their, business etiquette, the way they treat fans, etc. I'm not gonna comment on that right now, but just so you know, it was such a fun way, of engaging with these guys.
All right, guys. Hey, welcome from the Games Workshop booth. As you might know, I've been collecting Games Workshop and Warhammer and Lord of the Rings and all these kinds of super awesome miniatures I don't want to admit how long. It's been 20 years now. All right, so we're here, as you see, a couple of cabinets, lots of awesome miniatures. We've got Age of Sigmar, Warhammer 40k, Skitarii, Tau, Space Marines, the Nurgle armies. We just talked to one of the guys here at the booth and talked a lot about Warhammer, and they, said two cool things. The new Astartes 2 trailer just came out. I hope you guys watched it. If not, go on the Warhammer page, check it out. I'm not sponsored, by the way, but we talked about how I could get involved, and I'm going to take advantage of that. And, I'm going to show you around a bit more, and then I hope you guys love Warhammer just as much as I do. I got some recommendations that you guys would like to see some more Warhammer videos. So let's see if we can make that happen.
I did find Fantasy Flight Games. They were hidden. No, they were not hidden. They were just, together at a booth with different vendors. They, of course, make Star Wars Unlimited, Star Wars Shatterpoint. They make a Lord of the Rings game and all sorts of other IPs. I just wish they hadn't let X-Wing die, but, I'm not gonna go in too much detail about that. Of course, they make loads and loads of other cool things. Oh, by the way, don't forget to have your tea. As I said, loads and loads of other IPs, of course, Lord of the Rings, etc. Very fun. But what I was most interested in, of course, was hearing more about the new Star Wars Unlimited extensions. Yes, we saw it. There it is. I hope you like it. We're going to open more of this on the channel. I have a few booster boxes of this, a few starter sets, pre-release decks, sets, etc. But there was not much to talk about. It was just there. Sometimes I just like to, at shows like that, just walk from booth to booth, just looking at the displays, which is why we spent a lot of time in hall number 10 here. Loads of miniatures. I just love looking at them. I would have just, if I could, I would just, grab all of them and, take them home and have them join my millions of other toy soldiers. And, I just have a soft spot for these miniatures. I like this kind of setup, by the way, for Dungeons and Dragons, or if you have, like a Space Hulk thing. Konami, as a Yu-Gi-Oh! Player, collector, Konami, this was such a weird booth because there was no one. But, that's perhaps what works for them. Amigo, if you haven't played, Wizard is one of my recommendations for a very cool little card game. You can play that with friends. Very, super inexpensive, just a quick, fun game. One of my favorites, by the way. And just, Amigo makes a lot of these smaller, cool things and sets. And one more time, just way too many small games. Each one of these is a different game. Just way too many for me to comment on all of these. But I did found Flashpoint, Halo Flashpoint, for all you Halo fans, by Mantic in cooperation with other brands. Mantic, however, you might know, they make very affordable war games, miniatures. They sort of position themselves as a cheap alternative to Games Workshop. And of course, their miniatures are always compatible with it. This is another one of their smaller sets, smaller IP, and I haven't played it. I just think the miniatures are cool. but try it out yourself. Gamegenic, I was not super aware of the name itself, but of course had seen their products. They make all sorts of cool deck boxes, etc., accessories for card games and trading card games, such as you can see, Star Wars Unlimited. And they make this big XL extra large cardboard that holds all your stuff. And this is such a nicely laid out set, by the way. They make, a damaged pad. They have other stuff. They also make official resources for the altered game I haven't played, and even more here for Star Wars Unlimited. I love that they lay all the game accessories out like that. And apparently, I didn't know that, but perhaps you might know, they had a Kickstarter going on, the most successful Kickstarter ever for an accessory. I don't know if this is true, but these deck and dice boxes and such were really convenient. Vallejo, if you are a miniature painter, wargamer, painter in general, you probably know Vallejo from Spain, and they make paints. And they have so many cool ones out there. I'm a big fan of their metallic paints. I have, the true metallic ones, but they have game colors, express colors, non-metallic metals, I think, But today they also have stuff like, basic materials and just a whole color palette. If it doesn't have to always be Games Workshop, try them out. After hours and hours at the convention, we got to hall number 11, Multiproduct Group. We didn't stop here. Multiproduct Group is often, cheap Asian, Taiwanese, Chinese, etc. makers of, toys. This stuff has to come from somewhere, and that's exactly where you find it. In between, we had the Games Cafe, and the Games Cafe was pretty fun because, of course, number one, there was food. Food is always good, right? Next up, they also had vendors like Pegasus Games, etc., which make, smaller games. It doesn't always have to be, backed by millions and millions. It can be a bit smaller, like here. And, that's exactly what you found at the Games Cafe. Very cool atmosphere, just very relaxed, laid back, just people chatting and having a good time. I think the whole convention was like that, and I like that. Continuing here with hall number 11, the Multiproduct Group, as you see, Taiwan and other makers. If you ever walk into a store and think, where does all that stuff ever come from? This is it right here. You go there, you have a talk with them, you say, hey, I want this much from that. You make a bargain, hopefully, for the price. Discuss prices and shipping modalities, etc. And then they make it and ship it to you directly. Halls number 12 and 12.1 were reserved for more multi-product groups. But the groups got bigger continually, whereas 11 was more for the small ones, this was for enterprises, and of course, more licensed products, etc. And of course, I was hunting for the big ones. We have, as you can see, we have not mentioned some of the biggest names out there. One of them just so happened to be Ravensburger. And I knew Ravensburger was going to be big because they always are. And this is the booth. I'm not going to call it a booth. They basically had half the hall because Ravensburger is just so big. They, of course, make board games of all sorts. And they also make Disney Lorcana, which many of you guys I know love and collect. And we're going to see that in a bit. I think they did a great job. They could just hide this, behind a big wall like the other big names out there. But they didn't. They just let anyone come in, talk to you. They show you all the games. Here's the new Lorcana set. And I don't know if you have opened it. I haven't, but we're going to do that on the channel. I asked them also about first chapter reprints, perhaps in English. But they said they're not, they couldn't comment, of course. They couldn't say for sure. I'm not seeing it coming. But if you have better luck, I wish I got my hands on more booster boxes of first chapter. I hope we can see that on the channel soon. More and more walking, of course. The second to last hall. As a firefighter, again, I need to point this out, by the way.
In the last hall, 12.2. And just here, we came by Mattel and going on to Carrera, Revell. Still hunting for a few of the really big names.
And as I was saying before about Cobi, Cada, Ravensburger too, by the way, they had open booths. Everyone could visit. Everyone can walk in. But here with Carrera, Mattel, Revell, Playmobil, Lego, blah, 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 it wasn't like that. It was all closed. This was for an out bystander, this was the most boring hall of them all because it's shut off from the public. Has a lot to do, of course, with them not wanting to show what they're making, hiding IPs and of course trade secrets, and that's totally fine. I just think it's very telling. I'd say it's very telling for some of these brands. Here you can see the big Lego booth, and there's nothing to see, I'm afraid. There's nothing to see.
All right, guys, we're at the Lego booth, if you can call it a booth. This is like a hall in itself. And there's this little push button. Let's push it.
They also displayed the new Diagon Alley set, the miniature one. I'm not a fan. I have to be honest here. I'm not a big fan. I don't like the nano figurines, the nano figures. The big one, the really big Diagon Alley, the older one, is an amazing, amazing set. One of my favorites of all time. But this is just, it's not enough for the price. It's 200 euros here where I live. Again, it's not what I would be looking for in a set. If you like it, let me know. We're going to open a lot of Lego here on the channel. And I hope you love that because I love it. And I want you guys to be involved in my collecting journeys. If you watched till here, thank you so much. Let me know in the comments below if this is the format you like. Let me know if there's a convention or show I absolutely should visit that you recommend I visit. That would be great for the channel, or that you would like to, just go to or maybe meet up. Let me know if this is something to your liking, and then I'm gonna leave it to...
That's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you had as much fun watching as I had exploring all the different vendors and exhibitors, and I'll see you in the next video. And don't forget, you can find the super long, duper, hyper deluxe version of this in the member section of my channel. See you next time.